is on the matter of public transport now. Many residents have expressed anger about the lack of rural bus routes, while others fear concessionary and subsidised and school routes could be lost as the council's funding is cut. How would your group protect these services and improve public transport across Medway?
Well, first of all, there have been a national reduction in funding to support subsidised bus routes and particularly rural buses, and I think there was a reduction here in Medway of some 280,000. But Medway Council decided it would pick up that loss, and therefore there have been no reduction in the rural bus services that presently exist. And in fact, Medway Council spends something like 1.4 million on subsidised bus routes here in Medway, and there have been no reductions. The council took a conscious decision through its budget process to make no reductions in the supported bus services, despite the loss of, as I've said, that 280,000 from the central exchequer. So I can give that message that there will be no reductions in the existing subsidised routes.
That may be true, but if I can give you a specific example on this, our candidates in the local election got contacted by some residents in the Heron Way area of Chatham about a reduction in bus services. Then, no particular reason why there would be a reduction in bus services in that area. They contacted Arriva thinking it was their decision, but were then told by Arriva, no, it's been a cut in funding by the council. So while council chambers may say that, there is a specific example where that is not happening. And I think as budgets become under more and more pressure, this is going to be an area that's going to have to be considered very carefully. As far as rural areas are concerned, I mean, it's critical that we maintain that support to rural areas, simply because it's the lifeblood of those communities to gain access to our services. We cannot provide services in the same way as we do in urban areas to rural areas, so transport becomes critical to them. So I agree that we have to maintain those services, but I would strongly contend that there are no cuts taking place at the present time.
I think this is going to be one of the difficult areas in the next few years for Medway Council, because when I've been campaigning during these local elections, it's quite obvious to me that some of the bus services, even though we do subsidise quite a few of them, there's still not a bus service out to the Hoo Peninsula after the hospital, visiting hours closed and places like that, which does cause a lot of residents' problems. We as a party have been trying to campaign for a freedom pass for 11 to 18-year-olds. It's going to be very difficult to fund, but we would still be trying to do that. We'd also be trying to sort of keep our elderly concessions going and not cut them like Kent have done if we were successful in winning. But this is an area which is going to have to looked at very carefully under the council's next term, and also is an area where we need to lobby our MPs, I think, to make sure we get more funding, because Medway does have some very necessary needs for subsidising of public transport.